Good day. It is a pleasure and an honor to be with you today at Wonder Woman Tech. And all the participants, I stand with women advocates and allies who are building the future in every direction, in coding, in policy, in the classroom, and across borders. So today, we are not just talking about tech. We are actually talking about what kind of leader we must be to become in this world of increasing, that is increasingly being shaped by artificial intelligence, automation, and the accelerated change. Because the real threat is not the technology, it truly is the leadership and leading without purpose. So the future must be shaped outside of our labs. We must think about going out and understanding beyond the coding and beyond the technology to truly be able to shape our futures. I was raised in Silicon Valley, which is now what is the heart of Silicon Valley and technology of the world. My father was an electrical engineer at Burroughs Corporation. And that is where he actually built mobile robots when computers were the size of a classroom and not just fitting into our pockets. And actually, I was trained on the same type of computers. So, with that said, it is a fundamental understanding that I actually achieved about technology, not really defining us, but reflecting us. This reflection should actually be our priority, our blind spots, understanding our values, and using that across the universities into the boardroom. So, as I have moved from UC Berkeley into Stanford and moving on into the boardrooms and mentoring women across Africa, the MENA region, and actually evolving and looking at the policies in Central Asia. In all these spaces, I have found brilliant women full of vision that have been held back potentially with systems that were not built for them. So I decided to actually build my own system, to build the technology that would speak to my values and priorities. And now I help lead other women to do the same. So today, I would like to offer you a roadmap of 5 habits of leadership, pillars that would actually guide us to lead us with intention in this AI powered world. So, the first habit of leading with flow in today's world, things actually are changing so fast. AI is evolving every month. Our markets are actually shifting daily. The political climate, which is actually influenced by technology, is actually being transformed in hours. And so our agility is essential. The agility, the necessity of agility is critical. But through agility, we can get burned out if it's not grounded. It needs to flow and move clearly throughout the complexity of the technology. In Morocco and Nigeria, I worked with women founders actually building healthcare and e-commerce platforms under this type of pressure. They didn't freeze, they flowed. They adjusted with passion and grace. The flow is to lead through fast systems, not just seizing or chasing anything, but to actually align with what matters. The second habit is to lead with wonder. It's not by coincidence that this conference is wonder. The curiosity of leadership, diplomacy, and discipline is a critical factor. Wonder isn't whimsical, it's strategic. It's inclusive in our curiosity of what is missing and also to hear all voices. The data isn't telling the full story. We need to hear it from individuals, that human aspect, which is important. At 13, I raised my hand to learn how to program at Lockheed Martin in California. It was my curiosity, not my lack of confidence or my confidence for that matter, that opened yet another door to my learning. The curiosity was a driving factor for innovation. Curiosity and challenges our biases. Curiosity also builds equity into design. So I ask you this. What question have you not answered? Or what question have you yet to ask? Because the next breakthrough might not come directly from what you know, but from what you actually discover. Now, let's move into our third habit. Lead with heart. Our emotional intelligence is actually a in this data driven age, is something that's really seen as these soft skills, not necessarily essential, but I really see them as essential because we are still human. Leadership is at the humanity of what the core business thrives through, as well as how humans work through empathy, through integrity, and cultural intelligence, which is at the forefront of what we need to consider when we're thinking about emotional intelligence. They are, like I said, not soft skills. They're survival skills, essential to what we need in a data-driven age. So I actually have mentored many women in over 40 countries. And again, we unlock this incredible treasure trove, this wealth of empathy and understanding for our culture and for how business runs and for how we need to run at its core and bring our experiences of what we've seen, the respect that we have for one another, as well as being supported with emotional intelligence. This leads us to our fourth habit: lead with structure. I love systems engineering. I've moved from data transformation into AI and back again into systems and actually looking at structure and operations. This turns us into an actual movement forward. The structure is the difference between a stealth being and just running your company from day to day or your team into movement and flow, into innovation. So as we learn with this continuum of dynamics, we know that there is a difference between movement as well as working in the moment. Yes, innovation happens in chaos. This transformation actually exists and is required for design. Intention, iteration, equity, and innovation, it lives in systems. It's formulated in all of our values. Yes, values do flow through systems. In our hiring practices, to reduce bias, in our procurement of working with women and BIPOC organizations, as well as AI models that include our looking at the transformation as well as our accountability. The data governance and ESGs that actually, which is our economic and social governance, that actually respect our integrity and privacy and our ability to actually work with supply chains and to understand what comes next and what is expected. This must be reinvested. Creating an environment where our teams, where every voice is heard and respected, and allowing for that to evolve into our fifth habit, which is purpose. Purpose is an antidote for performance pressure. When we're feeling stressed and we know as we may not feel stress, we may just function in that modality. But when the spotlights fade and the funding dries up and there's noise in our everyday dynamic. We have the opportunity to stay true to our purpose. We can lead our teams, mentor startups, and actually have the opportunity of teaching in our universities. All of these leaders can be coexisting in this dynamic of purpose. Every day, as leaders, we wake up anchored to what is bigger, what is next. And we go beyond ourselves to know that there is something bigger. Purpose is an intention. It is a compressed foundation to build out a legacy of motion. So, how can we actually do this? Start each day or each session with a why. And then mention to your mentees, or people that you actually are being mentored, to understand what the purpose is, not just the matrix or the KPIs, as we say, but to lead with the end in mind. So as I close, at Wonder Women Tech Festival, surrounded by bold thinkers, boundary breakers, let's not just talk about what we build, how we build it, and who builds it. And for the next 20 years, how and why and who is going to be a part of it. So let's lead with flow, be agile in our vision. Let's lead with wonder, being curious and inclusive. Let's keep in mind our heart at the center of our humanity in tech. Let's think about the structure to actually build systems that scale equity, as well as purpose to lead the legacy in mind. Because in this AI world, we don't just need smart machines. We need intentional humans. Let's lead with intention, because the leadership is your legacy in motion. What I'd like to offer you is an opportunity to scan the QR code, and I'd love to hear from you in regard to the talk today. So please provide your comments. Link with me on LinkedIn, and I'd love to hear from you. And when you send a response, I'm happy to send out a toolkit to you, as well as give you a preview of the up and coming book, The 5 Habits of a Transformative Leader. So thank you for listening to the talk, and I look forward to meeting you on LinkedIn.